Super Rugby Unlocked, the penultimate round, and it seems to be the Bulls. Seems to be the Bulls. They're not playing this weekend, but by the looks of things, it should be the Bulls' competition to lose. They've got the Pumas next week. The Pumas have only got one win. The Bulls should go on and get the title, but we will wait and see. I've only just brought the teams up and the odds up now, so I will go through those in maybe pretty passing detail. Dave's been pretty flat out with life stuff. There's fireworks going off in the background if you can hear that. With Guy Fawkes a wee while back. Fireworks were on sale in New Zealand, so people are still letting them off. But yeah, I've literally just pulled the teams up. So as I go through these teams, it will be a live thing rather than me having had a look through all the changes and whatnot. Because yeah, it's just been pretty hectic. Son is starting school soon, and a bit of work stuff and just stuff in general. You know how it goes. So and a lot of other rugby. To be honest, there's internationals on all around the shop. But Super Rugby Unlocked, we still got to finish this competition off. And yeah, we've still got 3 games this weekend. So Friday, the first game, Griquas and Sharks. Griquas, no wins. So they go into this one as pretty big time underdogs. Sharks are 3 wins and 1 loss. That's not going to make things easy for them. They got George Whitehead. He's captaining at 10. Zach Berger's been impressive at 9. But yeah, the team in general is, well, they got a lot fewer Springboks than the Sharks, put it that way. I mean, you've got the Ox as a loose head still. Looks like Bowley's come in at 7. Nohumba and Bosch are still there. 19 combo. Your Pinkler is there on the right wing. Jeremy Ward's captain at 13 this week, interestingly. Anthony Folmink, didn't he play for the Griquas just a few weeks ago? Like, I swear the Griquas and the Pumas have both lost some of their key players throughout the course of the season. Butalezi is number 8 still. Maya is still there at tight head, so there's still no Thomas Dutoy. Madosh Tambwe has been in pretty good form, left wing. Nkosi, Mani Libok. I did see the Sharks had a scare with one player getting a COVID case, but the game still seems to be going ahead. They said the preparation has not been affected, so yeah. But man, the Sharks are big-time favourites. By the bookies here in New Zealand, 17 points favourites. Rugby Forecast algorithms got things a bit tighter with 4 points. But that's the Friday game, Friday evening over in South Africa, 6 o'clock in the morning over here in New Zealand. So, yeah, we'll see how things go with that one. But the Griquas, they're at home, but still big-time underdogs. It's been hard for the Griquas and the Pumas to keep up over the course of the season, despite showing some like really good periods of play. Maybe it's a bit of a marathon rather than a sprint, even if it's only 7 rounds. The next game, which is the Lions and the Pumas, is a Saturday game. Lions, again, haven't been like the most impressive of teams in this unlocked season. They're another one that's had their moments, but has fallen short too few many times. You can tell by their record. They had the one game called off as well. That's the draw column. Even if it was just a cancelled game, which was called a draw. It's still a pretty strong-looking team, man. Willem Alberts is back. He's in the second row. Sadi and Drea are your props. Fisaki is there at hooker. It's, man, pretty good-looking team. Now, Yankees is still captain at 10. Generally, he's looked like one of the better 10s in the competition, even if he's prone to a moment every now and again. Ross Cronier, 9. Chituka is at 7. Lombard's injured, isn't he? He's got a long-term injury, which is pretty unfortunate. Similani's come on, leaps and bounds. He's there at 13, but Udendal's at 12, which is his position I'm more used to seeing him in. Anyway, Scorsine left wing, so pretty well-rounded team. Lots of depth. Ori's on the bench. Daimani's on the bench, so tons of depth. Maybe a Lions squad that should be doing a little bit better than they are. The Pumas team, they are facing... Remember, they seem to have lost some players as well. Talliard's been having a pretty good season. The winger, he scored a few tries. Devon Williams looks pretty useful at the back. Bossoff is there. That's Theo Bossoff as at number 10 because remember, Eddie Fouché, he's injured. I think his injury, someone said, wasn't as bad as it initially looked like it was going to be. But I don't think he's going to be back in terms of getting back for the Super Rugby Unlocked season. Interestingly, Chriswell September is in at 9. and Smuts is on the bench, so that's a bit of a shift. Peter Jensen van Vuren is the captain at number 5, but you better believe the Pumas are going into this one as underdogs. Bookies are saying the margin's going to be even bigger than the Sharks in the Griquas game. They're saying Lions by 20 at home. The Rugby Forecast algorithm also goes a step further than the previous game by saying Lions by 13, whereas they're picking it by 4 for the first game. So, yeah, the Pumas are predicted to have a pretty long afternoon in front of them. That one is on at not the most friendly time for those of us in New Zealand. It's an afternoon game, so that will be one to watch on delayed coverage for us in New Zealand, unless you're a die-hard South African fan and you're living over here in New Zealand, in which case you'll get up to watch it for sure. The last game is the Stormers and the Cheetahs. On paper, it's the game of the round. It's the two teams with pretty similar records, 3 wins and a loss, 2 wins, a loss, and that cancelled game counting as the draw for the Cheetahs. The Cheetahs have also had a couple of guys injured. I noticed Frans Steyn is named in the team this week. He was named last week, but ended up playing, ended up pulling him out. But it seems like a pretty stable lineup. Blommetjies, Speckman, and Ja is a pretty bloody good back 3. Pokomela has been really impressive as well. Luan de Bruin seems to have pretty good things said about him in terms of his future. I'm not actually sure how old he is. Tian Schoolman's at 10. So, yeah, it's a pretty useful looking Cheetahs team. They were disappointing last week, but they had such a long layoff. It was maybe to be expected. For the Stormers, there's a ton of Springboks. Franz Malherbe, Skarin Tubeni, Stephen Kitsov, all Springbok front row. Schickerling and Morat are 2 of the more useful locks around in South Africa at the moment as well. I mean, when you think South African locks, you're thinking all those guys. You're thinking Snyman, you're thinking Mostert, Etzebeth. Guys have got tons of locks, Diaka, but based in South Africa, Morat and Schickerling are certainly up there. Augustus is there at number 8. Willemse could use a good game as well. Bit hot and cold, to put it mildly. Herschel Yankees is inside him. Rikus Pretorius has been pretty impressive actually over the course of the season. He's seemed to be putting his hand up because he's a player that I don't remember having seen a heck of a lot of before this tournament, but he's been a bit of a revelation. Rock Halant maybe had his game of the season last week. He is there at fullback. So yeah, 2 pretty good looking teams, you'd have to say. Mbonambi's on the bench. Yeah, pretty useful guy to bring on, to be fair. So, that being said, the Stormers are still favourites. 5 points by the bookies and 10 points by Rugby Forecast's algorithm. So, yeah, this game is the other one which is on at a reasonable time, 6 in the morning, I believe, over here in New Zealand. That would make it Sunday morning, but Saturday in the evening over there in South Africa. So, yeah, I still think Stormers Cheetahs is the game to watch, but I'll do my best to see as much as I can of all 3 of them. And I do hope, I mean, not that I wish anything against the Sharks. It'd be nice to see the Griquas get a win before the end of the season. But either way, it would be nice for the Pumas and the Griquas to at least keep the scorelines closer than what they're being predicted to get beaten by. But anyway, sorry this one's not that kind of... I mean, I would have liked to spend a little bit more time on it to see who's in and who's out and maybe gather a few stats. But apologies, yeah, time has been tight. But still, video's done. I will appreciate any of you guys filling in some of the gaps in the comments. I always read them, even if I don't reply to all of them. Definitely read them all. So if you've got any insights, who's in, who's out, injured, yeah, who you're looking forward to seeing, who you're disappointed to see selected, and yeah, it'd be much appreciated. But anyway, you guys take care, and I'll talk to you again soon. See you later.